sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.
All right, welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. And this time we are going to be looking at Champions League action.
Oh, yeah.
Real Madrid versus Atlético Madrid. And, we've got
Big one.
a big one. We've got some really good source material here.
Yeah.
Not just like the play-by-play of the match itself, but we've also got some pregame analysis and predictions from some
experts.
We'll
weighing in.
Yeah, so we'll be able to see kind of how things played out compared to how they were expected to play out.
Exactly. And it's not just about the scoreline, right? We're going to kind of look at some of the key decisions, the standout players, and, maybe even a little bit of controversy.
Oh, always some controversy with Real Madrid and Atlético Madrid,
There's a little bit of spice.
All right, so let's rewind to before the match even started.
Right.
You've got these two analysts, respected analysts in the football world, and they had differing opinions on how they thought this match was going to go.
Yeah, one of them was predicting a draw, saying that both teams would be kind of cautious.
Right. Knowing how important this match was, but then the other analyst was like, no, Real Madrid are going to take this one.
So a win for Real Madrid.
Yeah.
That's interesting because Real Madrid had actually not been able to beat Atletico in their two previous encounters this season.
Right.
So there was that question of can they break that, little losing streak against them when it matters the most?
Right. Can they turn it around?
Exactly. And kind of building up to this match, there was all this talk about, specific players to watch.
Of course, yeah.
Mbappe,
yeah. He's been on fire in the Champions League.
Yeah.
He was pegged as the man of the match prediction.
Oh, wow.
Big shoes to fill.
Yeah, big shoes to fill. So did he live up to the hype? We'll see. And then Eduardo Camavinga was the player to watch.
Yeah.
Stepping up with, because there was some absences in the Real Madrid lineup. So
yeah,
always like to see, a young player kind of seize that opportunity.
Exactly. Stepping up to the plate. Now, we can't talk about the pregame expectations without talking about the elephant in the room.
Oh, the big one.
Jude Bellingham was not playing in this match for Real Madrid.
Huge absence, right?
Huge.
He's a key player for them. But, with a red card and then just, accumulation of yellow cards, he was out for this one.
Yeah, and, he's so crucial to their midfield. So
absolutely.
That definitely left a gap in their lineup and a lot of discussion about who was going to fill those shoes.
Big question mark, right?
So, okay, stage is set. Tensions are high. And just 4 minutes into the match, Rodrygo scores a brilliant solo goal for Real Madrid.
Oh, wow. What a start.
Electrifying. What a way to kick things off.
Yeah. And I think, it's easy to just get caught up in the excitement of the goal. But I think it's really interesting to look at kind of what it tells us tactically.
Okay.
Rodrygo is obviously very fast, very skillful. But Atletico's defensive line was unusually high. So maybe it was overconfidence. Maybe it was, they were trying to press Real Madrid high up the pitch. But it left space in behind, and Rodrygo just exploited it perfectly.
So right away, we see how one goal can really give us a glimpse into the bigger strategic picture.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
And that early goal really, just sent a jolt through the match.
Oh, yeah.
Because almost immediately after that, Atletico had a chance to equalize.
Yeah.
Potential penalty situation.
Could have been a completely different game.
Right. That's how quickly things can shift in a match like this.
Momentum swings like crazy, right?
So I'm curious, how did both teams kind of respond after that early pressure?
Well, Real Madrid, even though they had the lead, they didn't sit back. They kept pressing. Valverde, I think, made a couple of crucial defensive plays.
So they were still on the front foot?
Yeah, they didn't let up at all. And Atletico, despite that early setback, they showed a lot of resilience.
Okay.
They created some really dangerous chances from corner kicks.
I was going to say, I remember they had a couple of corners that were...
Oh, they were so close.
Yeah, it felt like they could equalize at any moment.
Absolutely. And this is where the tactics get really interesting because Real Madrid knew how dangerous Atletico is from set pieces. So they defended them really well. You could see both teams were constantly adjusting, reacting to each other's moves. It was like a chess match out there.
That's so cool. And so it felt like Real Madrid might go into halftime with that lead, but then Julian Alvarez scores a fantastic goal for Atletico Madrid to equalize.
Unbelievable goal. He just danced through Real Madrid's defense and then curled one past Courtois.
Courtois had absolutely no chance.
No chance. It was a perfect shot.
And, that goal, it showed Alvarez's individual brilliance, of course.
Oh, yeah.
But it also, I think, revealed a little bit of a vulnerability in Real Madrid's defense.
Yeah, they were a little bit out of position on that counterattack, and Alvarez just punished them for it.
So going into halftime, the score is level, the energy is palpable. I mean, what are you thinking as we head into the second half?
Well, I think the first half showed us that both teams are here to play.
Right.
They both want this win badly, and neither of them is going to back down. I think the second half is where the mental game comes in, who can stay composed under pressure, who can adapt, because there's going to be more tactical shifts for sure. The second half is where it's going to be decided.
Oh, for sure. I can't wait. And the second half did not disappoint at all. Brahim Díaz came off the bench and scored a stunning goal to give Real Madrid the lead once again.
Wow, talk about making an impact.
I mean, talk about a super sub, right?
Yeah. Ancelotti really played that one, right? Bringing Diaz on. He just brought this energy into Real Madrid's attack, and you could see his creativity and his goal. I mean, it was all him taking on those defenders, creating space for himself.
But even with that lead, Atletico Madrid didn't give up. They kept fighting, kept pushing forward, and there's some really tense moments where it felt like they could equalize again.
Yeah, that's what I love about them. I mean, they just never give up. That fighting spirit is what makes them such a tough team to beat. And what I found really interesting was how they changed their formation towards the end of the match. They pushed more players forward, really taking risks, trying to get that equalizer.
And those risks almost paid off. I mean, Mendy had a great chance to extend Real Madrid's lead, but his shot went just wide.
So close.
And then Jimenez almost scored for Atletico, but Courtois made a brilliant save.
I mean, those near misses, that's what makes these matches so exciting, right? It just shows how close it can be, how one little thing can change the entire outcome.
And speaking of crucial saves, we have to talk about Llorente's incredible stop in the last minute of the match.
Oh man, that was a game changer.
Atletico was pushing so hard for that equalizer, and he just shut them down.
Yeah, he was so calm under pressure. You could see him reading the play, anticipating where the ball was going to go. I mean, amazing save, but it also showed just how fragile Real Madrid's lead was.
Right. One mistake.
Yeah.
And it could have been a totally different story.
Exactly one moment of brilliance from Atletico, and we could be looking at a draw.
So the final whistle blows, and Real Madrid finally breaks their losing streak against Atletico Madrid.
It's a big win for them.
It's their first win against their rivals this season, and you could see how much it meant to everyone. But as you said, it's a narrow victory.
1 goal lead.
Going into the second leg.
Yeah. So this deep dive, it's not just about what happened in this match. It's about understanding what this means for the next one.
Right, because that second leg, it's like a whole new ball game.
Absolutely.
Okay, so before we dive into those implications for the second leg, let's kind of take a step back and look at the key takeaways from this match. What were the moments, the decisions, the performances that really shaped this result?
Okay, well, we've talked about the goals. Obviously, those were huge, but I think we should go beyond the goals and look at the tactics.
Right, like, for example, Real Madrid's high press. Early on, it was really effective.
Yeah, they were all over Atletico, disrupting their build-up play, forcing them into mistakes.
And, I mean, that high press led directly to Rodrygo's opening goal, right?
Absolutely. It showed that Real Madrid wanted to control the tempo from the very beginning. But Atletico, they adapted well to that pressure. And as the match went on, you could see them starting to gain control of the midfield.
And their midfield dominance, that was key to creating those dangerous chances that they had.
Right, so it was this constant back and forth, this tactical battle that made this match so interesting.
It's like they were both trying to outsmart each other.
Exactly, like a chess match.
Yeah.
And both managers, Ancelotti and Simeone, they made some bold choices. Some worked, some didn't.
Like Ancelotti bringing Diaz on. That was a genius move.
Yeah, and Simeone's decision to push more players forward late in the game, it almost backfired.
Right, it could have gone either way. And that's what's so great about football. It's a game of risks and rewards.
Absolutely. The smallest details can make all the difference.
So as we start to think about the second leg, what are you going to be looking for?
Right.
What are the storylines that are going to be interesting to follow?
Well, first of all, I want to see how Atletico Madrid approaches the match at home. They'll have their fans behind them. They're going to be hungry for a win.
Right, they're going to want to make a statement.
Yeah, so are they going to come out super aggressive right from the start, or are they going to be more cautious knowing that they can't afford to concede an early goal?
And what about Real Madrid? Will they stick with the same tactics that worked in this match, or will they try something different?
That's a good question. I think it depends on a lot of things. Are all their players healthy? What's their strategy going to be? Are they going to try to play mind games with Atletico Madrid's manager?
Right, try to get in his head a little bit.
It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out.
It's also worth noting that Atletico Madrid, they're going to have to find a way to break down Real Madrid's defense, which has been really solid lately. And they're going to have to keep a close eye on guys like Benzema and Vinicius Jr.
Oh, yeah, those two are dangerous. They can create something out of nothing.
But Real Madrid can't get complacent.
Oh, absolutely not. They need to play with the same intensity and focus that they had in this match. And they need to be ready for a totally different atmosphere in the second leg.
So it sounds like this tie is far from over. Even with that 1-goal lead, Real Madrid can't relax. And Atletico Madrid, I think they're feeling pretty confident that they can turn things around on their home turf.
It's a classic Champions League scenario. Two great teams, a close first leg, and now a second leg that's going to be full of drama and excitement.
And that's what makes this deep dive so cool. It's not just about analyzing one match. It's about understanding this two-legged tie with all the tactics and the mind games and the potential for surprises.
And it's important to remember that this is just one small part of a much bigger tournament.
Right.
The Champions League, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
The teams that can stay consistent and adapt, they're the ones that are going to succeed. Okay, so we've been so focused on this Real Madrid versus Atletico Madrid match. But you mentioned the other Champions League results from that day. And one that really stood out to me was the Aston Villa versus Club Brugge game.
Oh, man, that was a wild one. Aston Villa, they were losing for most of the match, but then they scored 2 goals in the last few minutes to win it.
I mean, that's what's so unpredictable about the Champions League.
Yeah.
Anything can happen.
Right, you can never count anyone out. And I think that's a good lesson for both Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid. They can't take anything for granted.
Right. Complacency could be a killer in this tournament. Both teams need to be at their best if they want to move on to the next round.
So let's bring this back to our listeners. You've heard us break down this first leg, talk about the tactics, discuss the key moments. Now we want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on this Real Madrid versus Atletico Madrid tie?
Yeah. Who do you think is going to win and go on to the next round of the Champions League?
It's a tough one. I'm really curious to hear what you think. What factors do you think are going to be most important in that second leg?
What really stood out to you from this match? Was it a tactical decision? A moment of brilliance? Or maybe you felt like the momentum shifted at a specific point? Tell us.
We've analyzed this match from every angle, but ultimately it's your insights, your observations that make this deep dive even better.
So don't be shy. Share your thoughts, your predictions, your questions. We're all in this together trying to understand this amazing game.
That's what makes these deep dives so special. It's not just about us sharing information. It's about creating a space for everyone to talk and learn together.
Because at the end of the day, football is meant to be enjoyed, discussed, and debated.
And we hope that these deep dives give you the tools and the knowledge to appreciate the game even more.
So keep the conversation going. What are the matches, the players, the tactical trends that you want to explore?
Send us your sources, your questions, your passions, and we'll be back soon with another deep dive ready to uncover even more secrets of the beautiful game.
Until then, keep learning and keep the spirit of the game alive.
Sound the alarm. I'm coming up. We'll have a ball. I'm sweet like a buttercup. You're bubbly.